Welcome back, everybody, to the weekend show where I'll be breaking down the big mega cap stocks. So, before we get started, please hit that like button, and that is greatly appreciated. And if you're new here, definitely consider subscribing. Now, if you want to go above and beyond, support the channel and get daily trade ideas, swing trade ideas, live trading, and all kinds of long term and short term setups, definitely check out my link down in the description for Patreon. And now let's get right into the market. All right, so welcome back once again, guys. And it's been a hell of a weekend. We got 3 day weekend. Tomorrow, market will be closed. Monday for Martin Luther King Day. And then we got 4 days of trading, but we got a lot to cover. Starting with bunch of earnings that is coming up this week. You can see Tuesday, right after closing, we got a big name reporting earnings. Netflix. We also have before opening 3M. We also have Johnson and Johnson. That's another one. Intel, PG. So bunch of earnings this week. Now, if you look at my screen, fear and greed index, it's definitely cranking up, and now it's on greed. If you look at the sentiment, well, look at this, guys. Almost 50% of the entire market is actually bullish. 22% are actually neutral, and then bears are just only about 28%. So a lot of people are extremely bullish at all-time highs. Now, with that being said, a couple of things I want to share with you guys right now that's happening. You can see after what Trump said, especially another 10% additional tariff on uh, what 7 or 8 countries in Europe, and that's why the market dropped. And you can see the weekend Wall Street right now, it's down nearly 1%. So it's definitely not really looking good when you look at the market come Tuesday morning. It's already actually down. But also, if you go and check out those tweets from Kramer, he said a bad opening on Tuesday. That's going to happen. So if you want to reverse that, you want to see a green opening, which I know we still have a lot of time for that. But right now, the markets are reacting to that Trump's tariff, and it's red. But look at right here, guys. I want to talk about this. Germany withdraws all 15 troops. 15, again, 15 troops from Greenland after Trump threatened tariffs valued at nearly 3 billion per soldier. Okay, that's one thing, right? Look at this here. Two troops from Norway, one from Great Britain, one from Netherlands, one from Belgium remain ready to defend Greenland from invaders. I mean, come on. Is this a joke? And I thought Hitler was from Germany. This man did a lot of things, right? This is Germany. Withdraw 15 troops that actually were there. I mean, this is getting ridiculous. Nobody has balls to say anything to Trump. So if you don't have the balls, just give it up. Say, take the Greenland, just stop talking. Look at this. You're going to send two troops, one, and another one? What is this? You call this act of defense, and you're going to defend your, countries and your, Greenland with one soldier? I mean, this is just pathetic, guys. It's just pathetic from EU. And then I think they're gonna announce, or they're actually working on a meeting where they're gonna come out and, I guess, put tariff on US, some of the companies, like 100% or something like that. I'm not too sure what that's gonna be, but Trump definitely not backing down. He wants to purchase or take it by force. And if we're taking by force, this is what's going to protect Greenland. One, two, one. Come on. It's getting ridiculous, to see these newses out there. So that's why I guess, from that point of view, maybe Kramer is actually right in verse that market will open really bad on Tuesday, which is not the case. I hope that's the case because we would like a dip in the market, but these geopolitical tension that is rising, and then Iran. I mean, if you're gonna bomb, go ahead and bomb. I mean, what's all that? Just holding and not, and holding and not. It just to the point where, like, just do something, right? Do something. If you want to take Greenland, take it. If they want to give it up, just give it up. Stop talking. Nobody's doing nothing. It's all like blah, 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 talking all day. And pretty much when it comes to doing something, not much, nothing really happening. So we'll see, how that actually plays out. You can see Trump says 8 European nations face tariff rising to 25% if Greenland isn't sold to US. And they're saying it's not sold. But then, I mean, 2111, that's going to protect Greenland. I don't think he's ready to pay $700 billion for Greenland, and it's not for sale. So what's the next option? Force, and that's how it's gonna go. It just one word, I can find pathetic, guys. Just pathetic. What's happening right now? What market did Friday? You can see it was pretty flat. Dow was flat, advancing 40%, declining 55.6. Nasdaq flat, S&P flat. Russell did go up and make a brand new all-time high, and then gave it back and pretty much flat for the day. 11 sectors. Real estate led the way on top. Energy, industrials, financial, technology, consumer defensive, utilities, healthcare. Then we got stock market map. If you look at my screen, some of the big names did well on Friday. Broadcom was up 2.53%. Amy was up nearly 8% because insiders are buying at $337 per share. I mean, this man, whoever that actually bought, I don't know if it actually, if he actually have any brain in his head or how he actually came up with this. I know he's up on his position right now, but Amy, you're buying at 337 per share. Good luck. Then you got Nvidia. Actually was up, then gave it all back, 0.44% down. Microsoft finally going up 0.70%. Apple down 1%. PLT down 3.45%. Google down nearly 1%. Meta flat. Tesla flat. Amazon pretty flat also. But you can see market actually did not too much when it comes to Friday's session. And it was a OPEX day, so we didn't see much happening. But you can see a lot happening over the weekend, 3-day weekend, and we'll see how the market opens come Tuesday morning. And now I think we need to start with Apple, so let's talk about it. On Apple, stock is down 1%. So Apple, if you look at my screen, we had this head and shoulder pattern. We had the head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and then we broke the neckline. And now we even talked about it in my video that it's forming a bear flag. And you can see now there is a breakdown from that bear flag and the Bollinger Band pointing straight down. So I think we have a date with daily 200 SMA. That's where we could be going. But in the short term, look at the RSI here, getting pretty oversold. And usually around that 20 to 25 area, when we get there on the RSI, usually we see some sort of a bounce on Apple. So is that going to happen this week? Well, maybe not because of all the news that is coming out recently. We might see a gap down, but there is a gap at 253.38. This is going to be the big support to watch, and underneath that, 250, and you can see this is where the Bollinger Band is sitting, the lower one, 253. So these are some stops to the downside, but if this thing gets under 250, we could be going even lower down to 241. Now to the upside, if we can actually recapture the support 259, we could see some sort of a reversal in the short term to retest the neckline of this head and shoulder back up to 265. And you can see this 20-day is a negative slope, so definitely there will be rejection if that happens right here on Apple. But I think Apple right after earnings, if this thing actually comes down to daily 200 SMA, which is you know pretty much right around here, that's going to be a fantastic opportunity to start going along on Apple. On Microsoft, it's up 0.70%, and you can see we do have earnings in just about a week and a half. And what happened here? Well, if you look at this monthly time frame, we actually had a double top. We broke the neckline. And what is happening recently? You can see these two candles that two actually 457 to 456. That is a key zone here on this weekly, or even if you look at the monthly, that's where we got rejection before, and now that is acting as a support. Now you can see it's getting pretty frothy to the downside. You can see we had that double top with two earnings and then faded right here, faded again. We got this bear flag. We talked about it for past couple of weeks, and now we're breaking down from that big bear flag. So where things can go if this thing does not hold at 457, well, definitely we can go down even more. You can see there is a pretty big gap, and we could be going around that 400 mark, which is going to be insane if that actually takes place on Microsoft. A lot of things will be coming down, and especially Nasdaq definitely not going to survive this. If this thing gets down to 400, that's another $60 down to the downside from where it's trading right now. So going into especially Tuesday, watch out if this thing can recapture 462, we could see some sort of a move back up to, let's say, 470, maybe even 473 to the upside. But key zone to watch definitely right down here, 456 to 457, and that is these monthly candles you can see right here, where we got rejection right here, and that should hold. And the 20 SMA on this monthly sitting at 450, so that could be the next stop if this thing does not hold at 457 come Tuesday. On Tesla stock is down 0.24%. So Tesla also forming this bear flag right here. You can see on the daily time frame. And if this thing gives up 432, we could be heading lower down to lower band, which is at 415. And then from there, we can go much lower. On this last pullback, we had one of the gap that we filled, but there is a gap at 368. There is a gap at 338. And things can go down. Like I said, Tesla earnings are coming up, and I'm not expecting really good earnings from Tesla. And usually Tesla actually dumps after earnings most of the time, so that could be a case because we just hit an all-time high and we're just coming off from all-time highs. Now, somehow Tesla holds 432. We could see a reversal back over 444. These two moving averages, it can go up to 455 and then 464, and then we can talk about this gap just below 474. On AMD, it's up 1.72%. So AMD was going down pretty much similar chart, just like Microsoft. It was breaking down from this, wedge or flag pattern, and then we got that big gap up and go not once, twice, and still going all the way up to 335. We went above and beyond over 335, but then came back in. So what is next? We have earnings coming up in just a matter of 2 weeks on AMD, and things are just breaking out to the upside, and especially AMU. That's another one that's actually making brand new all-time highs in SNDK. So here on AMD, a key zone to watch, that 226, the gap down below 224. That does not hold. 50-day moving average at 220, and then the support at the 20-day moving average 215, all the way down to this gap near 210. If this thing gets over 235, the next stop is about 241 on AMD to the upside. On Meta, it's absolutely flat. On Friday, we got to move all the way back up to 629. But if you look at my screen, look at this blue line here. It's sitting right about that 625. We went higher just past that and then came back in. So this is gonna be the key support zone here at 614, 615, where we got rejection and gap fill reversal. If this does not hold, next support would be this trend line, which is going to be around 604 to even flat 600. We see some sort of a move back up to the upside. There will be resistance at 626, 5-day moving average. If we can clear that and hold above that level, Meta can actually rise even more all the way back up to 638. And you can see a lot of overhead supply now at 638. So if you're bullish on Meta, you want to see Meta trading over 638, especially when it comes to earnings. On Google, stock is down 0.85%, so brand new all-time high, and looks like it's pretty much fading, but again, it's holding that previous all-time high near 329 as a support. So that is the good part about it. But if you look at my screen, also earnings are going to come up very soon on Google. And if this thing actually gives up this support right here at 328.83, we could be going down even more, possibly down to this 323. 320, 20-day moving average, and then 314 all the way down to the 50-day 310. Now Google holds up here and breaks over the 5-day 334. We could see a pop back up to 342 and possibly even a brand new all-time high on Google. On Nvidia stock, it's down 0.44%. So a lot of things happening on Nvidia. You can see we had this wedge type of pattern. We broke out, and then what happened even on Friday, guys? This thing ran over 190, but then gave it all back, which is not good. But one thing I want to point out here on Nvidia, if we go to this hourly chart, what do you see? Well, basically, we're just chopping back and forth. So if this thing can get out of this range, we could see a big move. But so far, I would say As long as Nvidia stays over these lows down here, 170, well, that's okay because still there is a chance, where Nvidia can move up. But if this thing comes down and takes out this low, in that case, definitely we're heading down to like 160s. Definitely this gap, possibly even lower. Now to the upside, last week we gapped up. There is a gap at 184, which is a big support. If we come back down come Tuesday morning, watch out for that. If this thing does not come down here and opens over 190, that would be more bullish for a move up to 196 and possibly even higher on Nvidia, back close to that 200 range, maybe even higher than that. But with the market, going down over the weekend, I don't see that happening unless we see earnings coming up and some good catalyst. And I think there was a negative catalyst also. The same thing, that H200 chips got blocked, or yeah, blocked by China. The supplier also halting, the production of those chips. So definitely not, the news that you want from Nvidia company, and it just not happening at this moment. Even though we got this nice, gap up and go from this wedge, and now it's pulling back in. So we'll see how that goes on Nvidia come Tuesday. On Amazon stock, it's at 0.39%. So Amazon, if you look at my screen, and especially when you look at this hourly, what do you see? Well, just some sort of a bear flag forming. Is that going to play out? I don't know. We'll see about that when it gets to Tuesday morning. But as of right now, that 236 held three times already. But if that gives up, we could be coming down to 233, and then from there, this bottom of the range, which is going to be around 223, long way down. Now, somehow Amazon breaks and holds 242, we could see that push back towards that 250 mark. But so far, if the market is weak and tech actually selling off come Tuesday and next week, you're not going to see continuation to the upside, especially on hourly time frame where Amazon showing a bear flag. So before we get to Broadcom and Netflix, quick thing I want to show you guys on Microsoft. And you can see, I mean, it happened before. We had this bull flag pattern on monthly, and then what happened? Boom, massive breakout. We had this bull flag pattern here. We had a massive breakout. And so far, it just flagging on this monthly time frame. But keep that in mind, that is a monthly time frame. So you're not gonna see an immediate breakout the next day if that's going to take place, but definitely you can see it's actually bull flagging. All right, so let's talk about Broadcom here, which was actually up on Friday session 2.53%. And this thing is pretty much all over the place. You can see it was up, it was down, and now it's back up again. But I think Broadcom needs to take out that 356.7. If we can get over that, we could see a move towards that 373. And if this thing does not do that, then we could be pulling back into that 330 support, maybe even down to 324 on Broadcom. On Netflix, again, another flat day, so not too much time left for this thing to do anything. I would say Tuesday, they do have earnings coming out. You guys saw that at the beginning of my video with earnings calendar, and this is where it needs to shine. If this thing actually beats earnings with some good numbers, good, subscriber numbers, definitely you're going to see a big pop, maybe even $5 to $7. Who knows, maybe even 10, 12, right? But also keep that in mind, do not play earnings, especially when it comes to weekly options, because this thing, IB crush, will burn everything. So Netflix, I think, you know, I'm just gonna keep it simple. If this thing drops, down to 85.5, that would be a nice dip. Below that, even better. If this thing rises back up and somehow, we get out of this downtrend, watch out for a move over 91.7 and then 94, and then we can talk about even 97 to 100 on Netflix. And that's all I have for you guys in this video. I'll definitely keep you guys updated Tuesday night.